Hi everybody, Hal Weeks for Stalking the Wild Autoharp, and I am making a series of videos for y'all about melody playing, and there's a lot of different disciplines and techniques that come into your playing when you start playing tunes. Part of that is stuff on paper. Are you going to read music or not? And how do you learn without both the techniques of using your eyes and using your ears? Some people use only their ears, and that's okay, but you have to have good ears to do it. And if you don't, then learning to look at music, if not reading it, there's some things that you can learn and get from it, even if you don't just sight read it. I mean, sight reading is one thing, but you can look at music, and I'm going to show you this. You can look at music and discern what the notes need to be for the syllables of the words and the tune that you want to play. And then you can write that down and then use the chord cards that I already showed you to figure out what buttons you need to push. That's sort of like an overview of the whole technique, and I know you probably don't get that yet. I don't want to scare you off, but I'm going to show you some stuff on paper and on a staff, and how to sort of look at music. So, as you know, music has notes on a staff, and the notes have they're little balls. Some of them are filled in, some of them are not. Some of them have little flags that make them hold hands, and those represent time and how long or short a note is moving through time. And we indicate time going left to right, and we indicate notes by up and down on the ladder. And right now I'm not going to get into time with you, the rhythms of things. If you don't know how to read that, we're assuming you know how a certain song goes. If you don't, you're going to need to go listen to it, or you're going to need to learn to read the notes and their durations. But for now, we're just talking about the up and down parts of the ladder, and how to find the note name, and then how to find the note name within your chords using your chord cards that we already talked about. Let's use this one. Buffalo Gals. Ba 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 ba. So let me point out a couple of things. You can see the melody going up and down being higher and lower in pitch. Bom, 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 bom. See, we went up, and then we had one that was the same. Bom, 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 ba, 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 ba. And you can kind of see the line curve up and down. So it's a graphic line chart that shows the rising and the falling of the tune. And if you look closer, you can see where the tune steps up just one step, and when it goes up a little leap or a big leap. Okay, for example, here the note moved from a space to a space. That's a leap. It's not a big leap, it's actually the smallest leap you can make, but it skipped over the line in between. Let's look at it bigger. Okay, now you remember I said we're not dealing with the rhythm. That's why I didn't put the little stems on them. All I wanted was, where are the notes on the ladder? So that made it a little bit bigger. So that's all we're going to deal with right now. The other thing that's really important is at the beginning, We have this, which is called a key signature. These are sharps. They look like pound signs or tic-tac-toe signs, but one is on the F line and one is on the C sharp line. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But, well, let's talk about it now. You remember Every Good Boy Does Fine and Face, right? Oh, this marker is getting sort of squishy. So let's see, let's try it again. E, G, B, D, F. Every good boy does fine. And then face, like this. Now, if you have tried to read music in the past, tried to learn that, and you go, well, I can't learn this, I can't possibly remember that. Well, that means you've tried, right? And you've spent a month or two every day for 10 minutes looking at these little balls on the lines, and you really can't remember this. But how long has it been since you really practiced it, and you literally practiced it every day for a month or two? You would get it. You would know this. Nevertheless, you can always look at it and go, F-A-C-E, that's an F. A, that's F-A-C-E. And remember this and relate it, and pretty soon you'll have it. And you won't have to think F-A-C-E, E-G-B-D-F. You'll just remember it and you'll know it. This is the easy part. The reading of the rhythms is a little trickier. But if you remember this, that can help you get to this. Furthermore, and this is something that nobody ever pointed out to me in school, I'm going to point it out to you now. It goes alphabetically, starting with A, B, C, D, E, F, and it goes on up from there. G is on the top. This is G up here. E, G, B, D, F, F, A, C, E. Notice also that when it goes from a space to a space, it's skipping the line in between. Similarly, when it goes from a line to a line, it's skipping the space in between. When it goes from a space to a space, it's skipping the line in between. Music can skip further. It can skip as far as it wants to. But you learn to hear as you play melodies and you focus on them. You start to hear where there are skips and where there are steps, going from a line to a space, going from a space to a line. That's a step. So think about it like stairs, going up the stairs, line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space. Those are steps all the way up. Or you can skip down the stairs and skip every 2 stairs. But the idea is space, space, same, step, step, space, space, step, space. So, bum, 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 bum. Okay, now, let's talk about our cards. So, Buffalo Gals, notice that the chords are D, A, and G in this song. There's no others. That's just the 3. And so you would go and you would get your D, A, and G cards, Here's D major. Oh, look, here they are right on top. A major. And let's find G major. There it is, G major. Okay, so these are the three. And you remember what I said about home row? In home row, your middle finger is on the tonic chord or the keynote chord, which is the main chord in the song. To get the main chord of the song, always go to the last chord. Not all songs start with the main chord, but they almost always end with the main chord. So you go to the last chord, you look at it and you go, oh, it's in D. And that you will know that these two sharps mean that it's in D. So we get the three cards, and if we're going to play Autoharp, we're going to put our middle finger on the D, which means that the ring finger is going to go on the A, and the index is going to go on the G. These are our three buttons. What's underneath those buttons? Let's flip them over and have a look. So I'm going to make this go away, and we're just going to deal with this part. Okay, first of all, remember that we have this and this in the key signature. And what that means, one is on the F line. That means that every single F, whether it's on the top line or it's on this space, because those are both Fs, see? F, F. All the Fs are actually F sharp, but we're using shorthand here. And all the C's are C sharp. And you'll see that here. You see no F naturals in these notes. You see F sharps. And you see C sharps. No C regulars, no C naturals, no F naturals anywhere. You see the F sharp and the C sharp, and there they are right there. So these are the three chords that Buffalo Gals uses. No other chords. So now let's get fancy here. See if we can get all this on camera. Buffalo Gals with our G, D, and A chords. Can I get all that in frame? Looks like I can. Okay, first note is a D. Remember that the notes run on from where they were. So if this is an E, right before that in the alphabet, in other words, this space is going to be a D. See, it's going to go D on the space, E on the line, F, G, A, B, C, sharp, D. So this is a D down here on this first space at the very bottom. Okay, so that's a D. That's in the D chord. The next note, what note is that? It's right there. What note is that? It tracks back to F, and remember that it's F sharp. Boom, there it is right there. That's in the D chord too. What's the next note? A. Where is that? See, here it is here. Track it back. It's on the A line. That's an A. Where is that in the chords? Okay, well, it's in the A chord, but it's also in the D chord. And here's the rule that I want you to know. When the D chord is in effect, you have to make the decision to use the D chord to get the A. Because we're going to use the in effect chord every place we possibly can. And so what we're doing is we're going through all the notes from here to here, because it changes there, and finding all the notes that are not in the D chord, and we're marking them. So we're going through and we're looking at all the notes individually. That's in the D chord, that's in the D chord, that's in the D chord, that's in the D chord. This one is not in the D chord, so we're going to put a mark of some kind. And we're going to go, where is that note? What note is it? It's right there. Track it back. Oh, it goes all the way back here. It's a B. So, where is the B in these three chords? Boom, there it is in the G chord. So, we're not going to write B, or we can write B, to tell us that it's a B note, but to get it, we're going to use a G chord. Then, the next note is A again. We've already had that one 2 times before. There it is right there. It's an A. A is back in the D chord. We would not use the A chord because, why? Because the D is the main chord for this whole time. So we're going to use the D chord to get the A, and this is going to be, we're going to switch back to the D chord here. So we're going to write it there. And then this note is also the F sharp in the D chord. And so now this whole part has been figured out. We're going to play the D chord, the D chord, the D chord, the D chord, change to the G chord, and then the D chord and the D chord. Now, the next thing to do is to look anywhere else in this song where this pattern happens exactly. Let's see. Do we see it anywhere in here? Oh, yes, I do. It's right here. And that's very common. In music, that's called sequence or phrases. And there's very frequently repeated phrases. And so we can shorthand ourselves out and do that. So we're going to go D, 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 G, D, D, A. Sorry, we haven't gotten there yet. So we've got this part and this part all figured out. Let's go on. Now the main chord changes to A. And we're going to look at this entire period of time and say, are all these in the A chord? Well, we've got an A, a G, and an E. The A and the E are in the A chord. The G is not in the A chord. It's over here in the G chord. So, once again, we're going to put a G right there. And then we come back to an E note, which is, as we saw, in the A chord. So we're going to put A there. And you can write the note name down here below if you want. But the main thing is that we need to know what buttons to push to pull these notes out of the melody. Let's go on. The D chord comes back in. Now this is weird because here there's a D written above a B note, but the B note is not there. Excuse me. The B note is not in the D chord. The backup player, like a guitar player, or if you were singing, you would play the D chord on the Autoharp, but you would sing a B against it. But to play it on the Autoharp, we have to substitute this chord. And where are we going to find it? The B note is in the G. So we're going to put G here. And because D is still in effect all the way through basically till here, we're going to default to the D whenever we can, and the A note is in the D chord. So this is going to go back to the D. Next note is an F sharp. So we're going to play that in the D note, the D chord. And then we're going to go on. Remember, we've done this whole phrase already. So we can now go to here. And A is in the A chord. We have to default to the A chord all the way through here whenever possible, which is basically this note, this note, this note. See, I'm showing you how you get faster at it because you know now that the E is in the A chord. And you can just look at your cards until you do know that. You can go, okay, that's the A. And this G, where are we going to pick that up? In the G chord. So A, G, A, D, D. So I've taken you through the whole first phrase on how to do this using your chord cards to sketch out a simple song. Now you know the buttons to push to get these melody notes because you went to your home row. You said, I'm in the key of D, so I'm going to put my middle finger on D. I'm going to put my middle finger on D because I go, I'm in D, so I put my middle finger on D. Home row. That means A is here and G is here. Those are my three melody chords. Those are my three home row chords. So I go to my cards and I get my home row cards. There's D, A, and G. Everything in here is the A major scale. The D major scale. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. This has nothing outside the main scale. So these three will do it for you. Now, some songs, after you've done all this with your main three chords, you play them and you go, I'm hearing some prettier chords, and you want to put in some minor chords. That's another step. I'll save that for another video, finding chord substitutions and minors. Hope this helps. It's been a long demo. Go back and watch it a few times till you get it. If you want, we can do some other examples of this. Okay, so I know what you're saying. You're saying, Hal, I don't want to do all this work. I just want to play some music. Go for it. You can play chords and you can strum. You can start to hunt and peck using your main chords for the song. Just use those. You know, identify your song from a songbook or something like that and use the main chords only and start to hunt and peck. And, you know, go up and down the scale like I showed you in the other video where you're going back and forth to rise and fall. Listen to the tune. Is it going up? Is it going up a lot, a little, somewhere in the middle? And hunt and peck your way through. You'll find all of your melody notes in however many chords. If the song uses 3 chords, you're going to find all of your melody notes in those 3 chords. I almost can guarantee it every single time. If there's only 2 chords in the song, there might be 1 note or 2 notes somewhere that fall into a 3rd chord. But in general, if you've got 3 chords or more, just about every melody note is probably going to be in those chords. Okay, so I'm Hal Weeks. My voice is getting a little tired now. I'm going to go drink some coffee. I hope that this helps. This is not the first time I've taught this on air, but It won't be the last time because a lot of people want to play melody. And there's a few other steps too, like subbing in minor keys, or what do I do if the song is in a minor key? And that's the subject for another video that I'll get to on another day. I'm Hal Weeks. If you enjoy learning this way and you could possibly kick back a little thing instead of just taking a free ride on me, I would really appreciate it. And you can do that by going over to patreon.com/Hal Weeks and kicking in. I think there's a $1 level, a $5 level, and maybe a $10 level now. And agree to give me that much each month so that I can keep my lights on and get a sandwich once in a while. I would appreciate it so much, and I appreciate my patrons, all of you who are giving to this this project and helping me out while I help you out. So thanks for watching. I'm Hal Weeks. We'll catch you next time on Stalking the Wild Autoharp. Bye.